Hello, Nasir bhai, can I start? Hello.
Hello.
Nasir, can I start?
Yes, sir.
Yes, thank you. Hi friends, today we'll be discussing the fourth unit, that is society, community, association and institution. My dear friends, we are social animals. Aristotle has rightly mentioned that we are social animals. Without interacting with the people, without staying in the groups, we will not be able to satisfy our requirements. Forget about satisfying the requirements, we will not be able to survive, my dear friends. So, what is this society? What are the characteristics of this human society? Let us discuss this. Society is the aggregate of people living together in more or less in an orderly way. They are going to have certain rules and regulations or values by which they are going to communicate with each other so that they can survive, my dear friends. It's nothing but collection of individuals, my dear friends, and they are going to stay in an organized way. Let us discuss about the characteristics of human society. We have rightly said that without people there cannot be society, so we require society is nothing but the collection of individuals. It involves people. Second one is without interaction among the individuals, people cannot uh, satisfy the requirements. People cannot stay together, they cannot work coordinate, my dear friends. So they require a continuous interaction among the individuals. We require it is a collection of individuals, and we require interaction among the individuals. And when we are going to stay in the groups, my dear friends, we come together, we are going to share our feelings. So we like people, we like their behavior, we may like some features among the individuals. So society depends on likeness. Society depends on likeness. At the same time, when we are going to like each other, at the same time, we also have certain differences too. I love my mom. I love my dad. In spite of that, my dear friends, on some or the other issue, I may not support them or I may not listen to them, my dear friends. So we also have differences among the individuals. We find likeness. We also find little bit differences among the individuals who are there in the society. The next one is we are going to have division of labor, because in the society we individuals cannot do all the activities and we cannot satisfy all our requirements all alone. So what we are going to do better, we are going to divide the work among the individuals and we are going to cooperate with each other so that all the individuals who are there in the society, they can satisfy their requirements. So we find division of labor and we also have cooperation among the individuals who are there in the society. That means people are going to depend on each other. When we have said division of labor is there, there is cooperation. At the same time, people are dependent on each other in order to satisfy their requirement. So we find interdependence of individuals in the society. Whether society is static or dynamic, society is dynamic, my dear friends. It is not static. It goes on changing, my dear friends. Society goes on changing. As the things, new things are going to come, my dear friends. Do you know what is happening, beta? There are plenty of changes which are happening, my dear friends. For example, recently in the Arab countries, they have brought certain changes. Do you know what are the changes, beta? Till last month, a girl was not supposed to go outside all alone. She was supposed to be accompanied by a male person. It was compulsory. A girl cannot go for driving. She cannot go all alone outside. But right now, in some of the Arab countries, they have brought some changes there saying that the girl is free to go for drive all alone. At the same time, she can also move here and there all alone. So society is dynamic. Remember, it goes on changing, my dear friends. It goes on moving in a positive. Sometimes it may also go in the negative way also. The next one is, so if it is going in the positive way, well, I'm fine. But if it moves in the negative way, then it may lead to problem, my dear friends. So we require certain mechanism to control the human behavior. So there are two means by which we control the human behavior. One is through formal means, and the other one is through informal means. When we talk about formal means or formal way by which we are going to control the human behavior, that becomes that police system, judicial system becomes a part and parcel of this formal one. Whereas whenever we talk about informal means by which we regulate the human behavior, then norms, values, customs, traditions, folkways, mores, all these are going to be a part and parcel by which we are going to regulate the human behavior. So each and every society has its own means by which it is going to regulate the human behavior or control the human behavior. At the same time, each and every society has its own culture. Each and every society is unique, my dear friends, in its own way of life. We call it as culture. It is nothing but the heritage of the man. So the culture varies from one society to the other society, and each and every society has its own culture. So these are the characteristics of human society. Now let us discuss about the functional prerequisites of human society. There are four functional prerequisites of human society. People are going to stay in groups, people are going to stay in society, so that all the people will come together, they will divide the work, they will cooperate with each other so that their requirements are satisfied. So the first one is satisfaction of physical needs. It may be like food, clothing, shelter, protection from disease, protecting themselves from danger, whatnot. All these, that is the reason why people are going to stay in groups. So first one is satisfaction of physical needs. The second one is each and every society, my dear friends, we are not stable. After a stipulated time, we die. So it is the duty of the society to replace the members. When people die, then obviously some people are required in the society. So some people give birth, whereas in some societies, for example, last 8 years back, Denmark has opened its boundaries and it said that any person is professional, they can apply for permanent visa green card in Denmark. What made the government of Denmark to open the visas? Because their majority of the population was dependent population. Means they must be below the age of 14 years or above the age of 60 years. And in this dependent population, majority of them are above 60 years. So obviously they are not productive for the society. And the younger kids, they have to be grown, educated, and then they have to acquire skills, and then only they will be able to work. So till then, obviously people are not there in order to do the productivity activity. So what they have done better, because there is shortage of labor, they have opened the boundaries and they said that any person who has skill, they can apply for green card, permanent citizenship, and they can come and stay in Denmark, my dear friends. So we are going to continuously replace the members. That is the second duty of this society. And the third one is we require communication. If there is no contact and if there is no communication among the individuals, that means people will not be aware of each other. They cannot share their feelings. That means there will not be coordination. And if there is no coordination and if there is no cooperation among the members, then that society cannot sustain. Remember that. So we are going to have a provision where people are going to cooperate with each other or communicate with each other. And the fourth one is we require continuation of social system. It depends on whether the society has to sustain or not. It depends on learning and motivation. If I'm going to learn about the cultural values, about the norms and values which are there in that particular society, then only that society will sustain, or else the society will not sustain. So we are going to train the next generation with the norms and values, with the culture which is there in that particular society. So it talks about continuation of social system. So these are the four prerequisites of the society. Now let us discuss about community. Community is nothing but it is a collection of individuals staying in a defined locality. Staying in a defined locality. So, for community, my dear friends, two things are important. One is locality, a specific geographical area is required. Locality is very much required. And the second one is we feeling or community sentiment. We require we feeling among the members. I hope all of you must have watched this movie, Sai. In that, there were two groups, my dear friends. We call that as student community, but among the student community itself there were two groups, my dear friends. One is arts group and the other one is science group, and all the time these two groups were fighting with each other. And when Bhikshu Yadav villain tried to enter into the college, when he wants to grab the college, at the time all the people came together and fight they tried to fight against Bhikshu Yadav so that they can safeguard their college, my dear friends. So because they had we feeling, they could come together and they could fight against the outsider. So in a community, my dear friends, we require locality and we require we feeling or community sentiment. These are the two essential elements of this community. Remember, these are the two essential elements of community. What are they, beta? Locality and community sentiment. Let us discuss about the characteristics of community. The first one is these are stable. Remember, communities are more or less stable, my dear friends. They will stay together for longer period. And these communities are not naturally formed. They are not deliberately, but they are naturally formed. And what about the size of the community? The size of the community may be small or big. If we talk about the religious community, like Hindus, they are majority in India, whereas if we see the Jews, Parsis, and the other communities, other religious communities, their population is low, my dear friends. If I'm going to talk about student community, we find it is very, very huge, my dear friends. So the size of the community can be small or can be big, my dear friends. And each and every community has its own methods by which they are going to regulate the human behavior or regulate the human relations, my dear friends. Each and every community has their own customs, morals, practices, rules, and regulations by which they are going to regulate the human relations. For example, right now, you are student community and I'm from teaching community. See, we have two groups, my dear friends. One is teacher community, and the other one is student community. And in terms of interacting with each other, we have certain rules and regulations. How I have to teach and how you are supposed to interact with the teacher. We are going to have certain rules and regulations or certain guidelines, my dear friends. So each and every community has certain rules and regulations by which they are going to regulate the relation. Now let us discuss about the types of communities. Types of communities. We can classify the communities into three types. We can classify the human community, the communities into three types. The first one is tribal community. The first one is tribal community. According to Majumdar, a tribe is a social group with territorial affiliation, endogamous with no specialization of function, ruled by tribal officers, heredity or otherwise, united in language or dialect, recognized social distance from tribes or caste, my dear friends. So we are going to have a territorial geographical area, my dear friends, and they're not going to have specialization in terms of functions. Their duty is to go for hunting or they collect the food and they're going to have it, my dear friends. And each and every community, tribal community, is going to have a leader. It may be through heredity or maybe otherwise, my dear friends. And each and every tribal community is going to have their own dialect or language, my dear friends. And each and every tribal community also has certain distance compared with the other tribes which are there in the society. Let us discuss about the characteristics of this tribal community. We have said community can be small or big. When we talk about tribal communities, my dear friends, it is usually smaller in size. Remember, tribal communities are always smaller in size. And we are also going to have territorial affiliation and geographical isolation. Territorial as well as geographical isolation. Each and every person is going to identify themselves with a specific territory or a geographical area. The next one is homogeneity. All the people who are there in the tribal group, their lifestyle, their practices, everything, their culture, everything will be the same. Their purpose is also same. That is the reason why we call it as homogeneous group, my dear friends. Homogeneous groups. Then each and every tribe is going to have their own language or dialect. Like in Adilabad, we find Gond tribe. They have Gond dialect, my dear friends. It does not have Lipi. It is a dialect, my dear friends. Lambadas. Also, they have Lambadi dialect. It does not have Lipi. So each and every tribe may have a language or a dialect of their own, my dear friends. And each and every tribe, they have their own religion. It can be animism, animatism, totemism, all these. They may have their own religion, my dear friends, or religious belief system. If you go to Adilabad in the month of February, they will be celebrating this Nagoba Jatara. Nagoba Jatara. So it is very, very famous, my dear friends. And all the tribals across the globe or across the country, they will try to, especially Gonds, they try to come to Adilabad. They stay there and they celebrate it for almost a week's time. And if you go towards Medaramu, you'll find Sammaka Saraka Jatara. So each and every tribe, they may have their own religious belief system, my dear friends. And each and every tribe, they have their own culture. They have their folk songs, folk tales, folklore, and so on. And my dear friends, most of the tribal people, they have simple economy. Like their duty is to go into the forest, gather the food, go for hunting, they go for jum cultivation or shifting cultivation, my dear friends. Their motto is not to get the food, sell it outside and make profit. Their duty is to collect the food so that they can survive. They try to share the food, share the feelings with other people so that they can be happy, my dear friends. So the economy is very, very simple among tribes. So if we see in the tribal areas, the social organization is based on clan or it is based on kinship, bandhutvamu. It is based on relation. It can be based on marriage or it can be based on blood relatives, my dear friends. So we find the relation based on clan or based on the kinship. And we are also going to have the political organization. We are also going to have tribal panchayats. The elder person will be trying to look after the welfare of the tribal community. So sometimes it may be through heredity, or sometimes it may be the senior most person of the tribe who is going to do all these political activities. So this about the characteristics of tribal community. Now let us discuss about rural community. Rural communities are also very, very simple and exhibit a folk characteristics, but the vary in terms of size and in terms of homogeneity. Okay. If you see in the in the villages, my dear friends, the size of the villages may vary around 100 to 5,000 population, my dear friends. The size may be around 5,000, whereas the tribal groups it may be very, very less also. There was an article published in the year 2018, my dear friends, and the title of the article was Vanishing Tribes. There are four tribes in Andaman and Nicobar Islands which are at the verge of vanishing off. And in one tribal community, there is only one single person left over. ఒక జాతి ఉందండి ట్రైబల్, దానిలో ఒకే వ్యక్తి బతుకున్నాడు. కడమ వాళ్ళందరూ చచ్చిపోయారు. See, the size of the tribal community is only one person which is there in Andaman and Nicobar Island. Whereas coming to the villages, my dear friends, it may be small as 50, 100 and as big as 5,000 people, my dear friends. And in the villages, my dear friends, we are going to find different religious people and people pertaining to different castes. So we find heterogeneity in the villages. And in terms of economy, actually in the olden days, we used to have this Jajmani system and barter system. In the Jajmani system, we used to find two types of classes of people. One is Ejaman, nothing but the owner, and the Kamin, the person who is going to render his services. A barber goes to the landlord and he does the cutting, for which the owner may give uh, money, or else he may give in a kind, my dear friends, may give some grains or something like. He goes and does the cutting to the washerman, and he may come and wash the clothes here. So there was interaction in terms of economy or in terms of kind. Judgmane system was there and barter system was there. So we have a lot of division of labor. It was simple, but there was a lot of division of labor and there was coordination among the individuals in the rural communities, my dear friends. On the basis of permanence of community, my dear friends, the villages can be classified into three categories. It is there in your page number 55 if you're looking the book. Okay. On the basis of permanency, the villages can be classified into three categories. First one is migratory agriculture villages, where people live only for a few months and after that they simply move away from that place, my dear friends. So we call them as migratory agriculture villages. Say they do agriculture for a stipulated time and after getting the crop, they shift from that place to the other place. The next one is semi-permanent villages, semi-permanent villages or agriculture villages, where people are going to stay in a place for a few years till the soil is fertile. And once the land is not fertile anymore to do the agriculture, at the time they leave that land and they shift to the other place. So we call it as semi-permanent agriculture villages. And the third one is the permanent agriculture villages. Here the people are going to settle and live for generations together, my dear friends. So we can classify the villages into three types based on the permanency. The next one, on the basis of ecological characteristics, again the villages can be classified into three types. The first one is the nucleated village, village, which is tight cluster of houses surrounded by agriculture fields of the village. So all the people are going to stay at one place and surrounding by the agriculture fields, my dear friends. The second one is linear settlement, in which the houses are spread out with little or no space with other villages. So all the villages are connected very, very closely. We call it as linear settlement. And the third type is called as small cluster of houses without physical demarcation, which are found in the hilly areas. So at one place we'll find one or two houses, and at the other place again we'll find two or three houses, my dear friends. Likewise, people are going to stay together. So we are going to have three types of villages based on ecological characteristics: nucleated villages, linear settlement, and small cluster of houses. Now let us discuss about the other type of community, that is urban community. According to Louis Wirth, urban community is relatively large and socially heterogeneous human settlement. Heterogeneous human settlement. If we see Hyderabad, my dear friends, in Hyderabad, we have nearly 1 crore population. The size of the cities or urban communities is very, very huge, my dear friends. At the same time, the people who are there, they will be employed in all, mostly in secondary and tertiary sector. Primary sector is agriculture and allied sector, where majority of the people depend on agriculture in the rural areas. Whereas in the urban areas, majority of the people will be depending on secondary and tertiary, nothing but industries and in service sector, my dear friends. Here we have different religious group, different caste group, where they are going to settle here with different skill sets, my dear friends. So it is a heterogeneous group, my dear friends. Let us discuss about the characteristics of these urban communities. They are impersonal. Individuals are impersonal. When I'm going to come, I'm going to see what is my purpose like. I'm not going to see I have to help the other people like. I'm going to see what kind of benefit I'm going to get, my dear friends. All the relations which are there in the urban societies are secondary, not primary, my dear friends. They are not having primary relations, but they are having secondary relations. If I'm going to deliver the lecture, what kind of benefit I'm going to get? I'm going to see what are my possibilities, everything. We come with a purpose. We cooperate with each other in order to satisfy our requirements, my dear friends. And the relations are superficial. The relations among the individuals are superficial, my dear friends. Okay. And in these societies, my dear friends, because people are self centric, selfish, they want to take care of themselves, and they're also busy in making money, my dear friends. Do you know what happened? In order to satisfy the requirements of the people, new institutions came into existence. Now, both wife and husband are working, so in order to take care of the child, baby care center or creches came into existence. In order to take care of old parents, old age homes came into existence, nursing homes came, tuition centers came, likewise, n number of institutions came into existence in order to cater the needs of the individuals, my dear friends. And the population in the urban communities are heterogeneous in nature, and they have a great tolerance towards each other, because without cooperation, without interaction, and without cooperation with the other people, they will not be able to satisfy their requirements. So we find greater adjustment among the individuals, my dear friends. And these are the centers where we are going to have more manufacturing industries, and we have this service sector. So these are the characteristics. But at the same time, my dear friends, in the urban societies, we find nuclear families, not joint families. And here the kinship relations are very, very poor, my dear friends. These are very, very weaker in the urban societies. Now let us discuss about association. My dear friends, association is nothing but a group of people organized for a particular purpose or for a limited number of purposes. If you see here, I cannot see, I'm working for Usmania University. In Usmania University, we have Usmania University Teachers Association. We are government teachers. Instead of that, we are also going to have an association. What is the need for us to have association? Whenever the management tries to create problems for us, whenever they try to exploit us, so in order to safeguard our interests, in order to safeguard the interests of the teachers community, we have formed an association. At the same way, in our university, we also have non-teaching staff association too. We also have SC, ST Communities Association too working in university, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar Open University, as well as Usmania University like. So people deliberately they are going to form association for a specific purpose, my dear friends. When Telangana state has been bifurcated, there were few inhabitants which are being submerged under Polavaram project, and some of the villages have been handed over to our neighboring state, Andhra Pradesh. So at that time, the people who are there in those villages, they don't want to be merged with Andhra Pradesh. They want to be a part of Telangana. At the time, they have formed the association and they have taken a movement so that they can safeguard the interests of the people, my dear friends. So people, in order to safeguard their interests, they are going to form these associations. So who are going to make these associations better? Human groups, my dear friends. Human beings are going to form the associations. Recently, you must have seen Ma elections going on in the movie film industry, my dear friends. So each and every people in each and every place, in order to satisfy their needs, they can form associations. So human beings are going to form this association. That is the first characteristic. Second one, people who are going to have common interests, they are going to take the membership into that association. For example, we have political associations. If a person likes BJP, Hindu philosophy, he may take membership into the BJP party. And if a person likes Congress party, then he may take membership into Congress party. So it is up to the interest of the individual. So if they have common interests, at the time they are going to take the membership into that particular association. And all the people who are there in that association, they are going to have cooperative spirit, my dear friends. And all the people who are there in that organization or association, they are going to come together and form an organization, like who is going to be the president, who is going to be the vice president, treasurer, and what are the set of rules and regulation for the members, like who can take membership into that association. We are going to have a organizational structure and function, my dear friends. So when we talk about organization, it is going to have certain rules and regulations by which we are going to regulate the human behavior again. So what is the duration of this association? Whether these associations are going to stay for longer period or smaller period, my dear friends, it depends on the purpose. Sometimes the associations can sustain for years together. If you take the example of political party, Congress party, it has a history of more than 100 plus years. And Chiranjeevi, megastar, he has started this Prajarajam party, and later on he has simply merged that into Congress party. And if you take the history of Prajarajam party, it has less life, my dear friends. So the duration and life of these parties or association can be short, and it can be very long, my dear friends. Now we also have institutions in the society, my dear friends. So institutions are one of the basic concepts of this sociology. In fact, Durkheim has defined sociology as a science of social institutions. Institutions may be described as recognized and established usages governing the relations between the individuals and groups, my dear friends. So we are going to form certain institutions so that it is going to satisfy the requirements. And these institutions are going to have certain rules by which they are going to regulate the behavior of the individuals. For example, we are studying an educational institution. It has a structure, a function, set of rules and regulations, and who must be the teacher. For that, there is a procedure for selection. And for students, in order to enroll in the course, they also have certain rules and regulations. So there are certain rules and regulations which are going to govern the relations among the individuals. Let us discuss about the characteristics of institutions. It is social in nature. We find these institutions across the globe, my dear friends. So we call it as universal in nature, like educational institution, religious institution, political institution. All these are global. We find it across the globe, my dear friends. We call it as universal. The next one is each and every institution has standardized norms and procedure by which we are going to um, uh, we ask the members to follow it, by which we can regulate the human behavior. And we are going to use these institutions as a means to satisfy the needs of the individuals. The next one, these institutions are also going to act as a controlling mechanism. Like we have religious institution, which is going to regulate the human behavior. We also have the state, the government, the laws, judicial system. All these are going to regulate the human behavior. So we are going to call it as a controlling mechanism. And these institutions are permanent in nature, my dear friends. We have said the associations may stay for longer period or may not be, whereas institutions may survive for longer period. They are permanent in nature. And each and every institution may have oral tradition or else written set of rules and regulations. See, for example, for getting admission into the college, we have set of rules and regulations. When to come to the college, how to apply for exam, everything. When to come to the exam hall, everything. We are going to have some set of rules and regulations. And we also have unwritten rules like when a teacher comes, we stand up and we are going to greet the teacher. Actually, it is not written anywhere. It is not written anywhere that once the teacher comes, we have to stand up and we have to honor them or respect them by greeting them. It is not written anywhere, but it is unwritten set of rules and regulations. So we may have oral traditions or we may have written rules and regulations, my dear friends. And each and every institution may have some identifying symbols. For Hindus, we may have swastik om. For Muslims, we have crescent with star. And for the Christians, we have a cross. For India, we are going to have a national flag, national anthem, so on. Like recently, right now they are talking about implementing these Olympic Games. For Olympics, also we have a flag, my dear friends. So these are some symbols by which we are going to identify the institutions, my dear friends. And all the institutions which are there in the society are interrelated with each other. For example, if any person goes to the court, what they do better? Before the judge, the person is going to take the oath, saying that if a person is a Hindu, he is going to take the oath on Bhagavad Gita. And if a person is a Christian, he may take the oath on the Holy Book Bible. And if a person is a Muslim, he may take the oath on the Holy Book Quran, my dear friends. So see, judicial system is entirely different and religion is entirely different, but they are interrelated with each other. So we find institutions interrelating with each other. So these are the characteristics of institutions. Now let us discuss about the types of institutions. Institutions can be classified into two types, my dear friends. One is primary institution and the other one is secondary institution. Whatever the institutions which we find in all the societies, including the primitive societies, that we call it as primary institutions. What are they better? Even in the primitive societies, we'll find religion, we'll find family, we'll find marriage system, we'll find property. Even in the pre-literate societies, even in the tribal communities, we'll find it. So we call it as primary institutions. Then what are secondary institutions? We find these secondary institutions only in the so-called modernized societies or industrialized societies. We find law, we find business, we find recreational system. There are a lot of things which we find only in the urban societies or in the modern societies, which we do not find in the primitive societies. So all those come under secondary institutions, my dear friends. Till here, we have discussed about society, community, association, and institutions. Now let us go for groups. Let us go for groups. What is a group like? According to Harry M. Johnson, a social group is a social system of social interaction. According to Marshall Jones, he will find that social group is nothing but two or more people. It is a collection of two or more people between whom we are going to have established pattern of interaction. We are going to have established pattern of interaction that we call it as group. So it is nothing but collection of people with certain interaction which is prescribed by that particular society. So let us discuss about the characteristics, my dear friends. Groups consist of individuals, so it is collection of individuals. Second one, we require some sort of interaction among the members. We require some sort of interaction among the members. Without interaction, it cannot be a group, my dear friends. Remember, when people are going to interact with each other, then it comes under the purview of sociology. But if a person is isolated, he's not going to have any interaction with any person. And if you want to study his behavior individually, isolatedly, it becomes a part and parcel of psychology, remember. So we require some sort of interaction among the individuals. So with whom we are going to interact, my dear friends, when we are aware of each other, when we have aware of each other, at the time we try to interact with each other. So in the group, we are going to have mutual awareness. When we talk about mutual awareness, when people know each other, when the people are going to stay together, at the time they will build up a bond and they are going to generate we feeling likeness, my dear friends, among the individuals. So we have we feeling among the groups, my dear friends. And it also leads to group unity and solidarity. And each and every group has a common interest. Each and every group has a common interest. I would like to give one example. I hope everyone knows Sachin Tendulkar. And do you know who was his best friend, beta? His best friend was Vinod Kambli. Not Vinod Kumble, Vinod Kambli. Vinod Kambli, his papa was a normal person who used to stay in the slum, whereas Sachin Tendulkar is from an elite family, and his papa has admitted him into one of the best school in Mumbai. Whereas Kambli's papa, he did not have the financial condition, but he took the pain and he admitted his son in one of the best school in Mumbai. He wants his child to be educated properly so that he can come out of this poverty. And there a son of a rich person, a son of a poor person have become good friends. Do you know why? Because they have a common interest. Both Vinod Kambli and Sachin Tendulkar had the passion towards cricket, and they have played under 14 together, under 16 together, and they've also entered into Indian cricket team. And later on, Sachin Tendulkar flourished for longer periods, whereas Vinod Kambli could not sustain in the Indian team for somewhat the other reason, my dear friends. So we have similar behavior, we have common interest. Similar behavior, common interest. And each and every group is going to have their own set of rules and regulations. They have their own norms and values. It can be written rules and regulations or unwritten, my dear friends. It may be in the form of tradition, customs, norms, values, and so on. And regarding the size of the group, the size can be smaller or bigger, my dear friends. The size can be big or the size can be smaller. And coming to the stability of these groups, it can be stable for longer period or it can also be unstable, my dear friends. Whatever it is there, my dear friends, but the groups are going to influence the personality of the individuals. It is going to influence the personality of the individuals. My dear friends, why it is important for us to have these groups? My dear friends, without staying in the groups, we cannot sustain.
చిన్నాడు.
Yes, dear Rohini, can you mute yourself? Okay. But I think you're going on a road and you got Alauddin lamp. You got Alauddin lamp. What will you do, guys? Obviously, if I would have got this Alauddin lamp, I will rub it so that the genie will come outside. And I rubbed the Alauddin lamp. Genie came outside and he said, Z Aka, what do you want? Then I said, I want the best palace made of gold. Then it said, okay, take the gold palace. Then I said, I want a big plasma TV. And it made a big plasma TV that I can sit 2 kilometers away from the television and I can enjoy it. Then I said, I want the finest biryani on this planet. Biryani came. I said, I want Kohinoor diamond. Kohinoor diamond came. Whatever I wish, it is being fulfilled within milliseconds, my dear friends. How many of you want to be the king or the queen of this palace? How many of you want to be the king or the queen of this palace? My dear friends, think, think. All your desires are being fulfilled, but there is only one condition. If you want to talk to your mom, Zini will turn into your mom, and you are going to talk to your Zini in the form of your mother. That's it. And if you want to talk to your close friend, Zini will turn into your friend. Whatever you wish, it will happen, but you're going to interact only with Zini. How many of you want to be there? My dear friends, we are social animals. Remember, we are social animals. Whatever we have, when we are going to share with the people, if I'm going to share my happiness with the people, it is going to be multiplied. And when I'm going to share my sorrows, that will be subtracted. We are social animals, remember. So this society helps us to survive, satisfy all our requirements, remember. That is the main importance of this social group. And a person staying with the group, staying with the man, is going to be with the man. Staying with the people, he is going to learn the characteristics of the human beings and is going to be a part and parcel of the society. I'll give one example. It will come in again in socialization also. Some of the anthropologists, they were moving in the forest to um, study about the primitive people. When they were going in the forest, they have seen a girl 100% naked. Not even a single thread was there on the body. She was walking just like the wolf does. Just like wolf does. She was walking like a wolf. She was hunting like a wolf. She was behaving 100% like a wolf, my dear friends. You must have seen this Mowgli serial. Mowgli. A child was taken by the wolves and he was brought up by the wolves and he learned the wolf behavior or wolf culture. Actually, it was a true story, my dear friends. So these anthropologists, they captured the girl and they tried to educate the girl, and but the lady did not survive for longer period, my dear friends. The same way, my dear friends, if I'm going to stay with the animal, I'm going to learn the features or the qualities of an animal, my dear friends, and I behave just like an animal. And if I'm going to stay with a good company or with the human beings, I'm going to learn the culture and I'm going to be a human being, my dear friends. So being with men, we are going to become men, my dear friends. Next one, group helps social survival also. Because, my dear friends, we are dependent on each other. We cannot satisfy our requirements all alone. So we are dependent. So our survival is possible only through groups. And the next one is groups are going to develop the personality of the individuals. It is going to develop the personality of the individuals. I would like to give one example here. When I was working for an engineering college, at the time it was the 20th year of inception. So they have the great annual day celebration for almost a week's time. So there were dancing competitions going on, and a girl came and danced on Kajrare's song like anything. She was awesome. She danced like anything, and most of the boys were eagerly waiting to know who the girl was. And I was young at the time, and I also want to know who the girl was like. I just completed my masters, and I was working for an engineering college at that time. I used to teach industrial sociology and psychology at that time. So the competitions have done, and they were announcing the prizes, and most of the boys, their heart was bouncing to know who the girl was like. So they have given music prizes under music category, and all these boys were cursing. Why not dance first? And they have given the prizes for boys category. And once they were announcing the girls, like Mahato Madam, she was announcing the prizes. She stopped announcing the prizes. So some of the boys could not refrain themselves, stop themselves. So they went behind the curtain, went to the lady and asked, "Madam, why you stopped announcing the prizes like?" "There is a problem," the lady said. These boys started asking, "What is the madam? What is the problem, madam? The girl who danced on Kajrade, she's going to get first prize. We want to know who the girl is like." Then the lady said that, "What is the problem, madam?" Then they said that, on as a sociologist, I want to know how family, there were nearly 43 members, out of which 5 are male and the rest of them are female. Rest of them are female. Rest of them are these are grown up adults. They used to do business. They used to go across the globe. And this boy had the chance of staying with 38 girls in the house. So staying with 38 girls all throughout the year, my dear friends, sitting with them, talking to them, eating with them, he has inculcated the habits just like a girl. If you listen to his voice over the phone, you think like you're simply talking to a girl. That sweet voice you find. Guys, if you can mute yourself, please. Trisha. So here, my dear friends, wherever the group we are going to stay, that group is going to develop our personality, my dear friends. Whether you're going to be strong, introvert, extrovert, or anything, my dear friends, the personality of an individual depends on where he is going to stay, my dear friends. Now let us go for the types of groups, my dear friends. Types of groups. C.H. Cooley has classified groups into two types. C.H. Cooley has classified groups into two types, primary groups and secondary groups. Sumner, Sumner, Sumner has classified groups into two types, in group and out group. So these two are just very, very similar to each other. In group and primary and out group and secondary are very, very similar to each other. So let us discuss about the primary group which has been classified by C.H. Cooley, my dear friends. Characteristics. The first one is the size of the primary group is always smaller. Beta, how many friends do you have? We may have hundreds and thousands of friends. But do you share each and everything with all your friends? No, my dear friends. You're going to share with very, very few people who are very, very close to you. It can be your mom, it can be your dad, it can be your brothers and sisters, or some relatives or close friends. But that number will not exceed more than 7 or 8, my dear friends. Will not exceed more than 7 or 8. Remember, the size of the primary group will always be smaller. Means who are very, very close to our heart, with whom we are going to share each and everything. The size will always be smaller, my dear friends. In these primary groups, we are going to have very, very intimate, very, very close relationship we are going to have face-to-face contact, my dear friends, face-to-face relationship among the individuals. Next one, these primary groups are permanent in nature. Remember, till the people are alive, my mom and dad, till they are alive, they are a part of my primary group, isn't it better? My parents cannot be replaced by the other people, remember. So primary groups are always stable, my dear friends, stable. The next one is people who are in the primary groups, they are going to have similar background, similar background. For example, in the class also when we come to the college, like now we are having online lectures, but if we have offline lectures, at the time when we come to the class, we are going to see the people who are having the same habits, same background, and we are going to make friendship with them because same lifestyle, same background, it will be easy for us to understand and cooperate with each other. So we are going to have similar background. The next one is it is an end in itself. They are personal, my dear friends. They are, they will try to look after the interest of the group, not the vested interest. When I'm going to, if my friend asks me, my close friend asks me, yaar, I want your dress. Okay, take it. I want some money. I'm going to give it, and I'm not going to ask when you are going to return because we are having close relation, my dear friends. They are end in itself. They are end in itself, my dear friends. Okay, and they are also going to have same interest. Okay, they are quick and effective. At the same time, we are also having direct cooperation among the individuals who are there in the primary group. Now let us go for the secondary groups. Secondary groups, my dear friends, sorry, the size of the secondary groups is always bigger. It can be small or it can be big. The secondary groups can be big. For example, if you're going to take the college, like, then obviously the college is very, very huge and we are going to have a lot of students taking admission into that. Okay, the size of the group, secondary group can be small or can be big, my dear friends, whereas primary group is always smaller. Where in the primary group, we are going to have personal relations, whereas here we are going to have impersonal relations, my dear friends. If you die, see, for example, I'm staying in an apartment for almost 8 years. And I know my neighbors. I say, hi, hello, how are you? That's it. I don't know what is their caste. I don't know what is their religion. I don't know what they are doing. What is their financial condition? That's it. And sometimes when wife and husband are going to fight with each other, at the time I simply open the door, I see, and then I simply shut the door, and I think it's not my headache. Let them do whatever they want. It is not my headache. And I'm not going to go and help them, stop them. I'm going to see what kind of benefit I'm going to get if I go there. It is a vested interest will be there. It is impersonal, my dear friends. And whether we are going to have direct contact, my dear friends, we are not going to have direct contact. We have indirect contact. For example, right now we are having classes. Whether the Vice Chancellor of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar Open University, whether they call you directly and said, tomorrow you have sociology class, whether I called you, my dear friends, no. What we have done better or the university has done, they have simply sent the message to your mobiles saying that you have class at so and so time. And they've also forwarded the link. And you're going to, if you want to listen, you're going to click that link and you are going to join the class, my dear friends. We are going to have indirect communication among the individuals. Impersonal, indirect communication, and it can also be non-inclusive and contractual also. Membership in the secondary groups is mainly voluntary. Is mainly voluntary. If I want, I will come and deliver the lectures for you guys. No one is forcing me. If I want, I will. Or else I will simply withdraw myself. No one is going to force. You guys have also taken admission into Dr. B.R. Ambedkar Open University on your interest. No one has forced you to join only Ambedkar Open University. It is your choice. You have joined it. So people are going to take membership into the secondary group based on their choice, based on freedom, my dear friends, voluntary, not by force. The second one is secondary groups. Here we do not have physical proximity. We do not have physical proximity. For example, in the primary groups, If I go to my friend, I may knock the door, and if they're not going to open the door, I will be banging the door like anything. But tomorrow, if you go to the vice chancellor of university and you want to talk to him, so what will you do, beta? You'll go and stand at the entrance and you'll say, "Excuse me, sir." And when he say, "What do you want?" Then we'll go inside and we'll say, "I'm the student of this university. I have this problem." At the time the vice chancellor has said, "Take your chair," even then we'll say, "No, thank you, sir." But whereas when we go to our near and dear ones, even they invited us to sit, offered us to sit or not, doesn't matter. We simply drag the chair and we sit there because we have intimacy, my dear friends. We have intimacy, where in the secondary groups, we do not have that intimacy. We do not have this physical proximity. And coming to the secondary groups, my dear friends, it is not end in itself. Each and every person has their own interest. All the students who have taken admission into this Dr. B.R. Ambedkar Open University, they have their different purposes too. Some people have joined so that they get promotion in their job, whatever they are doing. Some people wants to have a graduation certificate so that they will be eligible for a few jobs. Some people, they want to earn, at the same time they want to have a graduation certificate, so earning while learning. So each and every person has a different purpose. It is not end in itself. Each and every individual has their own purpose, my dear friends. And what kind of contact we may have with us? We do not have direct contact. We have indirect contact, and we have secondary indirect communication. For example, any political party, if they are going to organize any meeting, will they go to each and every member of their political party and will they invite them personally? No. What they do better, they are going to write on the walls, or else they are going to spread the pamphlets, or else they are going to advertise in the television, or else in the newspaper. And after seeing the advertisement, if people like it, they will go and attend the meeting, or else they will simply ignore it. So we are going to have indirect contact and indirect communication, my dear friends. And in the secondary groups, my dear friends, we are going to have formal means by which we are going to regulate the human behavior. Whereas in the primary groups, my dear friends, if I have done anything wrong, do you think that my mama will go to the police station, lodge a complaint? No. She will try to regulate my behavior using the norms and values which are there in my particular society. She may beat me, or else she may tell about some stories, uh, like religious stories or something like, and she may try to regulate my behavior. Whereas in the secondary one, we are going to have formal means by which we are going to regulate the human behavior. So whenever we talk about formal means, remember that means we are going to have formal structure for the secondary groups. So this about secondary groups, my dear friends. So we are going to have formal, and we are also going to have, sorry, primary groups and secondary groups. Then we also have Gemeinschaft and Gesellschaft. Tones, Ferdinand Tones has classified groups into two types: Gemeinschaft, 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 and Gesellschaft, Gessel, Gesell, Schaft, Gesellschaft. Okay, Gemeinschaft is just like community, my dear friends. It is just like primary group. Whereas Gesellschaft, it is just like urban group, my dear friends. It is just like associations, my dear friends. Okay. The two terms refer to a community and a society. To a community and a society. In community, we have said we are going to have two elements: geographical area, and we are going to have we feeling among the individuals. So that we call it as Gemeinschaft. Whenever we talk about society, it is heterogeneous in nature, my dear friends. People are going to have different lifestyles, everything. Okay. And the relations which are there in the Gesellschaft, these are purely contractual, and it can also be replaced, my dear friend. Then groups can also be classified into formal and informal, formal groups and informal groups. Right now, if you take the example of our university, it is a formal group. It has some set of rules and regulations for giving admission to the students, for conducting the exams, for the staff, everything. For each and everything, we have a structure and a function and certain rules and regulations to control the behavior. Whereas coming to the informal groups, my dear friends, we are not going to have any written rules and regulations, my dear friends. We are going to have unwritten rules. It may be religion or customs, traditions, phase, all these are going to regulate the human behavior. Sumner has classified groups into two types: in group and out group. In group, it is very, very small in nature. Okay, groups are smaller, they have direct contact, personal relation exists, it is an end in itself. It tries to help developing the personality of the individuals. But as coming to the out groups, it is just like secondary groups, remember. Then we also have reference group. What is this reference group? This reference group, we are going to take it as a model for us, and we are going to compare ourselves with that group. For example, when you're a kid, when you have gone to the school, whenever the teacher has given the progress report to you and asked to get signature of your parents. Once you give the progress report to your parents, what is the first question, beta? They ask how much your neighbors got, or else how many marks your friends secured. So your parents are going to compare you with your friends, my dear friends. So here we are going to take an organization or a group which is well developed or advanced, and we are going to compare ourselves with that group. We are going to refer ourselves with the group so that we can make comparison like where they are going to stand and where we are going to stand, and we take it so that we can motivate ourselves and we can also progress in life. So reference group denotes a kind of social relationship. Reference group, therefore, it is a category of social actors with whom an individual compares and contrasts himself, his behavior, his goals, and his sentiments. For example, when we talk about hospitals, what is the best hospital in Hyderabad, beta? It is NIMS Hospital. There are plenty of private hospitals, but when the patient is critical, all the doctors they suggest the patients to approach NIMS Hospital because they also try to do the research there, and they are the best doctors working at NIMS Hospital, Nizam Institute of Medical Sciences. At the at the national level, it is AIMS, and there is also a five-star hospital in Delhi, my dear friends. And they have brought a lot of sophisticated machines where they are going to do all the diagnosis part using that machines, and they are going to provide the best treatment in India. So we are going to take the person and we are going to compare ourselves, our goals, our sentiments with them, so that it is going to motivate us and it also helps us in strengthening ourselves. Then groups can also be classified as horizontal and vertical groups. Horizontal and vertical groups. If you're going to have hierarchy like superior, inferior, then we call it as vertical groups. And if people are going to have same status, everything, then we call it as horizontal one. We can have vertical groups. We can also have horizontal groups, my dear friends. Groups can be classified into two types. Okay. Beta, any doubts in these two lessons? Any doubts?
No, sir.
Beta, in these two lessons, they will be mostly asking like define groups and explain different types of groups. Mostly they may ask about in group and out group, or primary group and secondary group. And in terms of society, community, associations, they may ask like what is the difference between community and association, or institution and association, or they may ask about give it for short answers, my dear friends.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yes,
Human
Leo.
human society, sir.
Yeah, what do you want, beta?
Sir,
Write it down.
community
Yeah,
association.
yeah, community, associations, human society. Listen, beta, they may ask any of four, like out of these four, they may ask what is the similarities between two or the differences between two, like human society or like association and institution or anything like. But if you have any doubts, like if you want to talk to me personally also, you're welcome. If you want, I will chat my number. You can talk to me.
Yes, sir.
Sir, please upload this video in YouTube, sir.
It's there in YouTube beta. You can also watch it. It's being streamed YouTube and it will be recorded there.
It's not getting, sir.
I'll share the link. Okay, don't worry.
Okay, sir.
Sir, send the
Yes,
number, sir.
it's there in the group. See, I've dropped in the chat box. I've dropped my number in the chat box, beta.
Sir, there is no number, sir.
I've just typed. Okay, write down beta 98492.
1 minute, sir.
9849
9849
29
29
2348.
2348.
48. Yeah. Just drop the message WhatsApp so that I can respond to you guys. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Okay.
Thank
Sir.
So could you
Can
please
you
repeat the
repeat
number
the
once
number,
again?
please, again, sir?
9849 9849 292348.
thank you.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Okay.
Sir.
Okay. So we'll stop here, beta. Have a nice day.
Thank you, sir.
Hello. If you anyone is there, please tell number once again. Na?
98
Uh,
49
09
29
29
23
23
48.
48. Thank you so much.
Hello, bro. Once again, number.
98
1 minute, please. 98
49
49
29
23
29
2348.
2348. Thank you, bro.
Excuse me, guys. If anybody has a link, please share me link.
YouTube link.
Ah, yes.
Okay.
Is the chat box service not working? I mean, can someone post the number of the sir in the chat box?
98.
No, can you post it here in the chat box?
You can't write here. There is no options for the rest.
What's the name of the sir, by the way?
It will be KB.
Sorry? What's the name of the sir?
Written KB only, KB. I don't know what is written. KB.
Yeah, last time when he has taken the class, it was reflecting as Venkatramana, and this time it is reflecting as Bhavani Shankar.
Yeah, I said Bhavani Shankar only.
Yeah, last time it was reflecting as Venkatramana. I'm not sure what is his name.
Sir name is Bhavani Shankar.
Guys, please share me the YouTube link.
Chat box not working.
But how do you want us to share the link?
It's working. Please type in the chat box.
Are you seeing? Can someone post the number which I have typed in?